asked about. Good catch it.
That was a good assessment, Paul. I appreciated that. Thank you.
Well, what do we? Do we need a motion to proceed or what?
I would take a motion that we, yes, proceed with the bidding and accept. I know it's kind of what it would be, accepting the final design drawings and specifications, correct, Leslie?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I make a motion we accept the final design drawings, specifications, and proceed for the water tank.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Officially, this would be order number design 2, item 2. So there's the approval. We are going to go forward with the. Get somebody out here to fix the tank. Throw it up in snow. Okay. Item 2, task order number 4, water improvement project amendment 5, Dcip grant funds. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but this is due to the Dcip and trying to taking monies from the Dcip instead of just the ARPA. So because of that, you had to do a couple changes, which is item 5.
Well, it's more than just the changes. What it does is this amendment sets up a task so that Keller's services to oversee the construction. So to oversee the changes that we made to the documents that we've been discussing was one thing, but the bulk of the funds is so that we can oversee the construction of the Phase 2 project and have that draw from the DCIP grant rather than your SRF loan funds, if that makes sense. So this sets up a task that we can bill our Phase 2 construction phase services to separately and track it that way.
Does that reduce it somewhere else then?
SRF loan.
So we're still using the SRF loan to pay for the bidding. And then one thing we discussed at the last meeting was, you know, we can reduce the construction phase services on Phase 1 now, or we can wait to do that and see. It's a T&M contract, so we can wait to use that and see if we need it in Phase 1. If for whatever reason it goes longer, then it's there. If we don't spend it, you know, we just won't bill that time, essentially. So we didn't amend that in now, Paul, to subtract anything out of the Phase 1 agreement. This just sets it up as a T&M task to allow us to bill Phase 2. And, you know, at the end of the project, if we don't bill out that T&M on the original SRF, then obviously you'll keep that money.
Would that be Task 5 or Task 6 money that would be reduced?
In the original agreement, I think Task 6 is, I believe, construction observation services, and Task 5 is construction phase services. So technically we're scoped in both of those to help with Phase 2. I will say that Phase 1 has, you know, taken quite a bit more than we had thought. So this will help drastically in terms of being able to pull that from the Dcip grant rather than what's left in the loan.
Right, all good with that, but Task 5 is listed as lump sum. Is it really lump sum, or is it also time and materials?
No, that's true. Task 5 is lump sum. Task 6 is time and materials. That's correct. So,
if we're pulling it out of one into another that's time and materials, then the lump sum ought to go down.
Okay. No, that's a good catch. We can look at that. I think you know, one thing we just want to be cognizant of is, you know, if phase one is continuing to go longer, you know, I don't want to pull money out and then have to extend it. You know what I mean? That back and forth. So we can do that now, or we can do it towards the end. I mean, I can go either way on it. It's, I think this is of a benefit to you guys, you know, being able to pull that money from the Dcip, but also I can see where, you know, we might want to look to reduce the Task 5 lump sum if you feel better doing that now.
Well, I think it's justified, and certainly we want to pull the funds out of the DCIP first.
Yeah.
However possible.
Yeah.
Whatever the Navy will let us.
Yeah.
You know, for that part of the project.
Yeah. No, understood.
We're also well over with prior amendments, the original agreements, and there's reasons for that, but we want to keep control of it too.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I think the main reason for that is we ended up having to go into 2 construction seasons. Originally, we had phase 1 and 2 with concurrent construction happening at the same time. And then phase 1 ended up, due to the generator delays and some other delays in products that, you know, it's like we have no control over that. Going into 2024, and then also the tank project, waiting to get those Dcip funds, them not happening concurrently, it did end up taking a little bit more effort for Task 5 and 6. So, you know, where we're at now, I feel comfortable looking at the budgets. If we're able to get the phase 2 under the Dcip grant, and with what we have remaining in 5 and 6, I feel comfortable that we're going to be able to close out phase 1 and 2 of the project with the totals that are here. That being said, if we come in under that, I have no problem. I mean, we just won't bill that amount, basically.
Well, we'll hold you to it then.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I apologize if I didn't cover that good enough at the last meeting, or maybe I did and it just didn't resonate fully. But
You know, one thing I was reading in the original contract, whenever there was a change orders were supposed to be done on a cost of materials and cost of labor. To me, cost of materials would be the contractor's cost of materials without a markup. Now, is that the way it's normally done?
yeah, it is, and it's in the contract documents. They are entitled to, I believe it's a 15% markup on their time and materials.
Okay.
So that strays, you know, that's totally independent of this amendment. That's talking about the contractor's time and materials. For our T&M contracts, like what we're looking at here, this is solely a T&M contract. Will just be us billing at our billing rate. You know, so like when we're overseeing the tank construction, we have an inspector in the field checking and making sure that things are being done correctly. That's being billed just at their hourly rate. And then it has a cap associated with it. That's what I'm saying. If we don't use all that money, we just won't bill it.
That's a small item.
And because originally we were planning on phase 1 and phase 2 being worked on concurrently, so the inspector, whomever would be here eyeing those things, would be able to bounce around, and it wouldn't be so independent, a separate independent action because of the phases being so far apart.
But there still may be some concurrence, quite a bit of concurrence in the spring.
Yeah, and they'll be, they'll be here still on phase 1.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of this is also engineering services and office staff and
Okay.
Going after DCIP grant, none of those things are free. So.
Different language.
And the 68,266, what we did, so that was budgeted into the grant when the Navy wanted a breakdown of the services. It's roughly, it's to cover the contract administration and inspection and funding administration for the project. That's where that dollar amount came from, and that was actually in the grant application for the total 900,000. So we didn't just make that up. What we did do was look at, okay, well, the grant has 68,000 roughly allocated for engineering services to help with the construction. What can we do for that? And so look, and that's what's in this scope. And so what we feel like we can pull off with that 68,000 is get the phase 2 resubmittal completed, get the project out for bid, and then oversee all of the construction. So your pay estimates, your change orders, your day-to-day coordination with the contractors, submittal reviews, and then also do part-time project inspection. I assume 20 or 24 hours a week for an inspector to make 2 trips out to the site, 3 trips out to the site every week. So that's where the scope came from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, any money we don't have to spend on the revolving fund will make me happy.
So